COVID-19 is an illness that can affect your lungs and airways, and it's caused by coronavirus. As I'm sure you're all aware, the symptoms include a cough, shortness of breath, and high temperature. So the things you need to do are wash your hands with soap and water often. Do this for at least 20 seconds. Although, depending on how well you scrub your hands and run it down the water, 20 seconds might not be enough. Anyways, work from home if you can. Always wash your hands when you get home or into work. Use hand sanitizer gel if soap and water are not available. Cover your mouth and nose with a tissue or use your sleeve, not your hands, when you cough or sneeze. Only travel on public transport if you need to. Put used tissues in the bin straight away and wash your hands afterwards. Avoid events with large groups of people. Try to avoid close contact with people who are unwell. And the things you don't do: don't touch your eyes, nose or mouth if your hands are not clean, and do not have visitors to your home, including friends and family. COVID-19 originated from a Wuhan seafood market where wild animals including marmots, birds, snakes, bats are all traded illegally. Coronavirus are known to jump from animals to humans, and the first people who were infected by it were thought to be primarily stallholders who contracted it by contact with the animals at the seafood market. A vaccine for COVID-19 isn't around the corner. Bringing vaccines to the market is a notoriously slow process, and any potential vaccine will have to pass multiple stages of testing for safety and effectiveness. And once the vaccine is safe to use, it'll need to be manufactured. It's likely that any vaccine is around 18 months away. But with that being said, there's still a lot of work being done to develop a vaccine for COVID-19. The pharmaceutical firm Sanofi is trying to build on its already approved flu vaccine and turn it into something suitable to treat COVID-19. Other approaches, such as one being trialled at the University of Oxford, are focusing on the spike proteins on the coronavirus as a way to target vaccines. But accelerating these efforts will require funding. In fact, the Coalition of Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, or CEPI, has called in for $2 billion in funding in order to support the development of these new coronavirus vaccines. There is currently no specific treatment for coronavirus. Antibiotics do not help as they do not work against viruses. Treatment aims to relieve symptoms while your body fights the illness. You'll need to stay in isolation away from other people until you have fully recovered. You may be at high risk from coronavirus if you have had an organ transplant, if you are having certain types of cancer treatment, or if you have blood or bone marrow cancer such as leukemia, have a severe lung condition such as cystic fibrosis or severe asthma, have a condition that makes you much more likely to get infections, or are taking medicine that weakens your immune system, or if you are pregnant and have a serious heart condition. The coronavirus, officially called SARS-CoV-2, can invade your body when you breathe it in after someone coughs nearby, or if you touch a contaminated surface and then touch your face. It first infects the linings of your throat, airways and lungs, which then turn into coronavirus factories that spew out huge numbers of new viruses which go on to infect yet more cells. At this early stage you won't be sick, but some people may develop symptoms. The incubation period, which is the time between infection and the first symptoms appearing, varies widely, but it is 5 days on average. The coronavirus can live on surfaces for up to 3 days and poses a greater risk to people with obesity or diabetes. While children are not currently considered the most vulnerable to the virus, they are vulnerable to the secondary effects that it creates, like the extra strain put on health facilities that are poorly equipped. Children whose caregivers get sick or die will be at higher risk of malnutrition, abuse, disease, death, and exploitation. The coronavirus has a clever disguise. Sugars dot the outside of the spike, just like sugars dot the outside of regular human cells. The carbohydrate camouflage makes the virus more difficult for the human immune system to recognize. The coronavirus seems to attach by opening and closing. Each spike is made up of 3 identical proteins twisted together. All 3 proteins in the spike have to open for it to gain access into the cell, but a vaccine may be able to exploit these openings. The holy grail of vaccines will trigger antibodies to attack the spike's stem, which is so similar to other coronaviruses that a single vaccine might be able to protect several strains instead of just one. One treatment avenue may be able to block receptors so that the spikes have nowhere nowhere to attach. 3 things that can actually kill the virus itself is soap, ultraviolet light, and extreme heat. After about 20 seconds of contact, soap breaks apart the fragile fatty membrane that holds the virus together. Disinfecting agents with at least 60% alcohol puncture can destroy the virus in a similar way. Extreme heat, however, which is near boiling temperature, causes the proteins in the spikes to unravel and loosen their shape, deactivating them. A human fever, however, is not enough to do this, and it's unclear what effect warm summer weather will have. And finally, ultraviolet light shatters the genetic material inside viruses, bacteria, and other microbes. However, it does not work uniformly, and disinfecting UV light can't be used with people around as it damages human cells as well. On Monday the 23rd of March, Lagos, Nigeria reported its first death related to coronavirus. The patient was 67 years old and he came back to Nigeria from UK after having medical treatment in UK. He had multiple underlying health conditions including cancer and diabetes and had been undergoing chemotherapy treatments. The government has issued a list of essential retailers which are now allowed to stay open. These include supermarkets and other food shops, pharmacies, petrol stations, bicycle shops, home and hardware stores, post offices, banks, pet shops, garages, and dry cleaners. Stay safe, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace!